Hello, beautiful soul family. Welcome back. My name is Rebecca. If you are new here, welcome to the soul family. You absolutely are part of our soul family. If you are here, there are no accidents. So we welcome you with loving open arms. Boy, what interesting times we live in. And it is such a pivotal moment for us as light workers, heart-centered beings, however you identify, to be able to step into our purpose. The tides are turning. And when I say that, I have an image of a very large vessel and ocean liner, if you will, that is turning. And if you can think of this massive vessel in the water, how much momentum is gained as it plows forward through the water, and how much energy is required to be able to put on the brakes and make that stop. That feels like what we are in right now. This time that we are transitioning from has had a lot of momentum, and it has been difficult for a lot of people in many different walks of life, ways, shapes, and forms. We've all had big challenges, and that time is coming to an end. And for the beautiful people who are doing the work, that's going to be a good thing. For those of us who have a relationship with our creator, you can trust that God is in charge. And if you prefer the word divine source creator, just insert wherever you feel that's necessary. Don't let the semantics get in the way of this message, right? This is a time of reaping. For those of us who've been doing the work, it is going to be rewarded. And we are in very strange times. Time itself feels odd. It feels I feel like I have to kind of stop and check and figure out, where am I at? You know, what day is it? What week is it? What just happened yesterday? So you can, there's a palpable sense of the way that things are changing, and we can trust that all is in perfect divine order. And many times it's so easy for us to get attached to outcomes and to want to wield our manifestation wand and create the life of our dreams the way we see it should be, the way we feel fit, the way we think that we are going to thrive. And many times it isn't that way. Many times we ask for what it is that we are looking for, and that is the end result. That is the destination. But what we don't realize is everything it takes to get from here to there. That's the part where we have to trust the divine. And so many times it can look like I need to go right to get to this place. And the divine says, wait, no, you actually need to go left. And so we need to start to warm up to and exercise the muscle of, what do we do when the divine says no? Because we all, too often, we know what to do when the divine says yes, but we don't know what to do when the divine says no. At least for me personally, especially before healing trauma, I had a bad attitude about it. I would get pissy. I would be like a little toddler in my mind throwing a tantrum. It's not working. It never works for me. Everybody else gets whatever they want and I don't. The victimhood, the unhealed trauma that had all of these stories about how life was difficult and it never works for me. And those were the very things that kept me stuck. And it is hard for those of us who've experienced complex trauma to be able to step into the no willingly, surrendered in full faith and trust, because our nervous system rattles. It feels very uncomfortable. It feels distressing. It feels intolerable when we are so dysregulated by things not going our way. When we get attached to outcomes and they don't go our way, and we don't know how to hold ourselves through that, it can take us down for days, weeks, months, years, depending on how large the trauma or the trigger or the no is, right? So the question is, can you tolerate discomfort? This is a very common issue for those of us in the spiritual community, because we've been told it's all about love and light and rainbows and unicorns and sunshine. Yes, be loving. Yes, choose what is choosing you. Yes, acknowledge the divine is in charge, and you won't always get to decide how it goes. But at the same time, we have to recognize that sometimes it's going to require a bumpy, difficult ride to get to the other side, especially if you are still stuck in the corporate 9 to 5, you're stuck in the 3D matrix debt slavery system of having to work to pay taxes and work to pay taxes and work to buy stuff so that you work and pay more taxes and have more stuff. To get out of that, to break free, to really become a sovereign, free human being, it's uncomfortable. It's going to require a period of transition. And I think we've all been sold a lie through a lot of these YouTube or Facebook ads that are like, you can make 10K months overnight. That's not always the case. It's rarely the case, in fact. If we had better expectations or more clear, reasonable expectations, they would tell us it'll take 3 to 5, 3 to 6 years before you're comfortable financially. It'll take going into debt. It'll take, and of course, this is dependent on the person. If you have resources or you have a savings, maybe you don't have to accept some of these things, but we want to understand that if it happens, that's okay. The point is the discomfort of the transition. The point is knowing that things will fall apart, because when they fall apart, they are falling into place. The things that fall away, the people, places, and things that were no longer a part of our path will have to fall away. Many times when we get stuck in that ego consciousness, the trauma responses of control and manipulation and cognitive strategy, trying to make things happen, trying to make it work the way we think it's supposed to work, and not allowing the divine to move, it's going to require having to let go of that old life. It's going to require a longer period of being forced into surrender. And I smile because for more than a year, probably a year and a half, close to 2 years, I kept receiving the message, surrender, 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 surrender more. And I'm like, I have surrendered. I'm getting pissy with the divine. I'm like, I can't surrender anymore. And the message was still surrender more. And you come to realize that when you finally let it all go, that's when the divine can move. That's when it can flow. That we hold on to things and we keep ourselves stuck because we think we know how it should go. And we don't let go enough. We're not able to tolerate the discomfort that is required to be in full faith, trust, and surrender. And so a good example for me, we get this message, right? Just it'll all flow. Life should be easy. And this is true. It does get much easier when you let go and when you're letting the divine lead. But in order to get there, there is a period of distress. There's a period of discomfort. There's a period of things falling away, and it feels scary. And so as an example, when I was in a toxic relationship and I knew I needed to get out, I knew I needed to leave. The easy thing to do, the way to just go with the flow, is not what the divine was calling me to. It required my rocking the boat. It required me being the villain in someone's story. It required me fighting for my life. It required me being brave and showing up and commanding and demanding that I will be treated properly. I will live the life that the divine has called me to. And that was very uncomfortable. The rattling and the shaking for days and weeks in some cases. If I was not able to tolerate that, if I had not healed my trauma so that I had capacity to tolerate that, I would never have broken free. I would have settled. I would have at least stayed close by. I would have put my life on pause. I would not be following my purpose. I would not be thriving, and I would not be able to receive the gift of trauma spotting and helping other people do the same. So we have to learn how to hold ourselves through that discomfort. It's called distress tolerance. It's a psychological term. It is something that we learn subconsciously when we have healthy connection and healthy family. But for those of us who didn't have that, which is a very large percentage of the heart-centered lightworker community, we cannot tolerate distress. Our body is full of unhealed trauma. Our nervous systems are not capable. And we have gone into that isolation, hermit mode under the guise of perpetual healing. And we hide, we shrink, we play small, we fall back. And that keeps us from our purpose. Distress tolerance is required to step into purpose. And I have been feeling, and if you follow me, more of a call to be a light warrior than just to be a light worker. We want to remember that Christ had a righteous anger when he flipped those tables over in the temple. The money changers needed to be put in their place. Sometimes we're going to have to be that person. Sometimes we're going to have to be powerful. Sometimes we're going to have to shine brightly. Sometimes we're going to have to say no. Sometimes we're going to have to command that we be treated properly. And that's going to make people uncomfortable. We're going to trigger people. They're going to be upset. They're going to judge you. They're going to criticize you. They're going to send those arrows at you and you're going to feel it. But the question is, what do you do then? One, if you've healed your trauma and you've desensitized those triggers, you're no longer judging yourself for those things. And so it's less aggravating, less activating. And two, when you do receive it, there is enough space in between the felt sense of their negative energy coming towards you and your understanding of what that means. No longer do you attack yourself and criticize your inner child and believe the lies that they're sending at you and question, what did I do wrong? And am I a bad person? And should I have said that? Or should I have done something differently? You don't do that anymore. There's enough space and time between receiving that negative energy and feeling it in your body and recognizing that's their wounding. That's their refusal to heal. That's their trauma speaking. And so you can hold it and you can hold those parts of you that want to be hurt by that and rightfully have a right to be hurt by the things that they say and recognize we're okay. We're okay. They can't hurt us. And no matter what they do, we're going to be okay. We're going to get to the other side of this. They cannot hurt us. Whatever the stories are that you tell yourself, you got to flip them because they're not true. False evidence appearing real is the definition of fear, right? So recognize there's only two types of thoughts. There's thoughts of fear and thoughts of love. And a shift in perspective towards love is the definition of miracles. So if you're looking for miracles in your life, if you're looking to step into your purpose, if you really are committed to that path of getting on the divine purpose path for your life, because the divine has a beautiful life designed for you, right? The divine wants to prosper you and to give you hope, not to harm you. The reasons you have been hurt in your life are from the people who did not heal their own traumas and from our lack of education around how to work this vessel of a body, how to heal trauma, and also how to listen to the divine. To trust ourselves also requires trauma healing, to trust ourselves to receive the divine guidance and to trust ourselves enough to know that no one else knows what is right for you. Only I have access to that divine guidance that is in my body. And I choose to believe and to know the divine is leading me down a beautiful path and all will be cared for. It is in the highest good of everyone concerned that you follow your divine path towards a beautiful life. It is safe to trust the guidance of the desires of your heart, to quote Amanda Francis, right? Remember that ego-based consciousness is going to keep you stuck. Pain plus resistance equals suffering. We cannot resist what the divine is calling us to. Sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable. And we have been sold a few lies, accidentally or in purpose. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just here to put the record straight. The divine loves you. The divine wants to take care of you. The divine has a good plan for your life. It will be uncomfortable getting there at times. Distress tolerance is required. It is possible to hold yourself through it so that you don't crumble under the weight of the pressure. And when you get to the other side, there will be freedom. There will be expansion. There will be purpose. There will be fulfillment. There will be peace. There will be joy. There will be rest. There will be abundance. It will be worth it. Realignment's uncomfortable, and that's okay. We can do hard things. We have to remember the promises so that we can step in to a life beyond our wildest dreams. And that is the promise of the divine. But you have to believe to receive. Your belief is the single most important factor in this process. I love you, my friends. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, send this to anyone that you think could benefit, and I'll see you on the next one. Namaste.